Something strange going on with the Washington Commanders franchise. We will be discussing what went down throughout the whole draft process and the initial feedback, not only from analysts, but what fans are also thinking about the Washington Commanders picks. I'm your host, Azael Mejia, with Commander Digest, reporting everything all Washington Commanders, off-season, regular season. The draft has finally ended. The dust has settled. The sun is sunning. Shador finally got drafted. Okay, my fault. No shade being thrown, but that was one of the biggest stories coming out, the NFL draft, and whether or not he want to get drafted. And by where he ended up, maybe it was better if he didn't get drafted, because he ended up going to the Browns. The Browns, a team that has 5 quarterbacks on paper in the quarterback room. The Browns. My fault. No, I'm sorry. I'm shooting from the hips. I'm just, everybody catches strays right now. It could have been worse. He could have ended up with the Cowboys. Okay, my last one. I'm sorry, my fault. The NFL draft has ended. I'm a little excited because we're one step closer to the NFL season starting. So if I'm over here shooting from the hips, everybody catches shade. Shador, Browns, Cowboys. Don't do this gesture around John Moran. He could get suspended again. Oh, okay, now I'm done. But back to the point, we're gonna be discussing on the shocking, intriguing behavior of the Washington Commanders, but also looking back at the overall draft of how it went, the players that the Commanders drafted, where analysts have them ranked regarding grading, and the initial feedback from the fans. As I said in the beginning, what I mean by strange, it doesn't necessarily have to be something bad, but it's just Washington Commanders find themselves in a situation that they have not found themselves in a very, very long time. I'm talking about a situation, quarterback situation, where you have a consistent, reliable quarterback, a consistent, reliable head coach, and a consistent, reliable front office. Tell me when the Commanders had all three perfectly aligned. For the first time in a long time, the Commanders they come into this draft as, I would assume, everybody would assume the same thing, as a top 15 team. So it sort of puts them in an unfamiliar territory they haven't been in for decades. So, but also strange is, as on the channel, we reported a ton of reports that were saying that the Commanders were going to go defensive heavy in the draft because they went offensive heavy in the offseason. Going through the list again, getting Deebo Samuels, Tunsil, signing Michael Gallup, re-signing Noah Brown. You have all the offensive weapons, and a person would assume they wouldn't go defensive heavy when it comes to stacking up the defense, because they definitely stacked up the offense. But even Sports Illustrated, they reported after the draft that the initial ideology, the feedback from the Commanders front office, is to stack the offense as much as possible for Jayden Daniels, give him a supporting cast, teammates all around him to better help him as a team. Because the ideology of the team is that they want to stack the offense so much where they don't have to rely on the defense to win games. Where sort of, I don't want to say they hope that the offense can produce, but it's sort of, like I said, more reliant. I don't want to do like a little teeter-tot thing, but it's sort of like they're prioritizing, that even sounds negative too, the offense a little bit more than the defense, instead of trying to balance them out in a sense. That's sort of the ideology, hoping, relying on that Commanders said copy the same success they had last season, if not do better, and then with the weapons they have right now, as a better improve the offense. But as I said, there was a ton of reports reporting that the Commanders were going to go defense heavy. They had a mix of players, offense and defense. We're going to look at that list right now. I know we've gone through both first and second, but we're going to just do a quick recap for those who haven't seen it. First of all, we're going to talk about Josh Connolly Jr., offensive tackle, University of Oregon. Quick, explosive, quick on his feet, great at his position. He definitely knows how to guard a quarterback to keep them safe. Exactly what the Commanders needed. One of the best offensive linemen in his position in the draft. You need someone like that for Jayden Daniels. Protect him, because Jayden Daniels, very dynamic. He likes to, scramble in the pocket. But also, if you see the run lane open, he'll take it. He needs someone who can protect him. But how many times had the Commander gone for it, 4th down, and they let Jayden Daniels do a run play, scramble, make a play happen? So it does happen more than you think with the Commanders going, one of the most. I'm pretty sure the Commanders were the team with the most 4th downs in general, but also completed. We also gonna touch a little bit on Trey Amos, cornerback from the University of Mississippi. He helps the secondary, especially strengthen it with you already having Marshawn Lattimore and Mike Sammy still in those positions. Going to help them. The Commanders struggled in that cornerback safety position, secondary side of the ball for a very long time. So you get a consistent, versatile, and very adaptive cornerback. What I mean by versatile is he's willing to take on either any assignment. He has known to go one-on-one with guys smaller than him, bigger than him, and he still has a 50-50 chance of making a play. Adaptive, he is known for having a good sense of zone defenses and man-to-man defenses coverage, so he's very adaptable to what the coaches present to him and what play to run. Now we're going to look at players that we have not discussed that were picked in the later rounds of the Washington Commanders. First of all, Jaylin Lane, wide receiver from Virginia Tech, 4th round for the Commanders, 5'10", 191 yards. One of his key facts right here is NFL.com ranks him 5th among all wide receivers drafted in athleticism. That's great for a wide receiver to have. NFL.com also has him described as a good backup with the potential to be a starter. This is going to be a common theme throughout the next couple of draft picks as well, because that they're good backups and then potentially be starters. What do we go off of quotes on this channel? So one of the quotes we always say, prepare for the future now so you don't have to prepare later. So the idea is help Jaylin produce, grow as a player. So when these older, I don't want to say older, but the kids say these other older wide receivers, when as they move out, he comes into his own, and then as the position, if it presents itself, the opportunity presents itself, 2 to 3 years, he is fighting for that lead wide receiver position. But because the wide receiver, as we stated, the offense is pretty stacked on paper, especially the wide receiver room. You got Deebo Samuels, Terry McLaurin, Noah Brown, Luke McCaffrey, KJ Osborne. You have all these guys in the wide receiver room, and doesn't even include the running backs, Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Jayden Daniels. He likes to run with the ball. So this guy, to be all transparent, a rookie's not going to come in here, especially in the 4th round, and just get touches. It's not going to happen. So it's definitely a good sense for the Commanders. Prepare now for the future. So you prepare a younger quarterback on a rookie contract, and as those quote-unquote older players shift out, you shift them in when it's time, as I said. Also going to be looking at Kain Medrano, linebacker from UCLA, 6th round for the Commanders. NFL.com describes him as an average backup. Another fact about him, that's what he's projected to go. But to put a better sense on it for fans, who would you rather have? Would you rather have Kain, who drafted in the 6th round, or would you rather have Frankie Louvu, Bobby Wagner in that position? Another instance where you prepare for the future now instead of later. Let him get his reps in, grow as a player, and even for Kain, this is a great opportunity to learn from guys like Frankie Louvu, like Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner re-signed with the Commanders for another year on a team-friendly contract. That says something about his character. He wants to see this team succeed. He knows this team is a winning culture, and to have that type of people you can pick their brain off for Kain is very excellent. He comes into his own the next couple years as they move out. He comes into that position. He's also very good. One of his best key traits is he's good on the run. What have we talked about before in the channel? That the Commanders have struggled when it comes to defending the run. That's great to have for a linebacker. And we also have right here Jacory Croskey-Merritt, running back from Arizona, selected in the 7th round. NFL.com projects him to be a good backup with the potential to be a starter. You already have 2 running backs at the position for the Commanders. Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, they're going to get their touches. And then Jacory could get his touches here and there depending, because the Commanders have struggled with the running back position with just injuries. Austin Eckler being on the older side. So you have that opportunity for Jacory to better influence his game, better improve his game, and you have these people to pick their minds off, which is totally great. As I said, same trait within all these players. They're not going to start right away. They're going to just be backups, and at the time, if time presents itself and they improve, they will get the opportunity to fight for that leading role, which is great for the Commanders, because, as I said, it was predicted that they were going to go defensive heavy. That wasn't the case. It was more so add more weapons for Jayden Daniels. But as I said, we were going to talk about what analysts have said about the Commanders draft picks. Commanders Wire ranks the Commanders drafts an A. That's it's a little biased. Maybe just a little biased. But we're also gonna look at see what NFL.com said ranks them a B. CBS Sports ranks them an A. USA Today ranks them a B minus. New York Post grades them a C plus. So you got an A, B minus, C plus. That's passing. That is passing. That is on a roll. Just want to put that out there. But to go more into details on what some of these analysts had to say about the Commander draft pick, including Kain right here pictured, Chad Reuter from NFL.com had to say about some of the picks of the Commanders. I love keeping Lane in the DMV because of his explosiveness as an inside and outside receiver. It's fluid, fast. Medrano is a special teams demon and productive outside linebacker waiting to happen. I also enjoyed the Croskey-Merritt pick. You'll be seeing him running past and avoiding tacklers in the open field. Get a better understanding of where these later draft picks are with some of their key traits. Lane being explosive when it comes to the inside outside being a receiver. Medrano, as I said, good linebacker, but also he has good traits when it comes to being on the special teams. Merritt being a good running back when he finds a space. Also, I forgot to mention about Merritt, he is very known to fight for every yard, very aggressive when it comes to his runs, so that's great for the Commanders. Another guy who could just, that hungry, rookie, young, ready to play now type of mentality. Also, we're going to be looking at what Chris Trapazzo from CBS Sports had to say about some of the picks that the Commanders have made. Connerly was the prudent, albeit non-sexy pick in round 1. He can start at guard, then eventually bump out to tackle where he started at Oregon. Amos has a high floor at boundary cornerback, a clear need opposite Marshawn Lattimore. And Lane is a dynamic slot receiver with 4.34 speed and wiggle post catch. Croskey-Merritt absolutely has the size, cutting skill, and effortless power to be a tremendous 7th round find at the running back. Just a great sense of all these different players that were selected. As we said before, these players are going to grow and they're going to prosper. And as these players move out, they get to positions. Connerly, even in the first round, he's going to start at guard. And then once the tackle position opens, he's going to take it. Amos, as I said, great cornerback to pair on the opposite of Marshawn Lattimore. Lane, dynamic slot receiver. Merritt, with his size and cutting skills, makes it look effortless. And one of the things that fans were sort of getting mad at the Commanders about was that running back. They believed they needed a better, more dynamic running back. And some people are saying that they got a good running back in the 7th round with Croskey-Merritt. We're also going to look at what Nate Diaz from USA Today had to say about the Commanders' picks. GM Adam Peters did a nice job while picking OT Josh Connerly Jr. in the 1st round and CB Trey Amos in the 2nd. 4th round wide receiver Jaylin Lane could capably, I thought it was mistyped, but it's not. Capably is a word. Gotta add that to my vocabulary. Take over for departed Dyami Brown as the deep threat. Just praising Adam Peters' success in drafting these players, but also giving a better insight what it's like for a wide receiver like Jaylin Lane. You lose Dyami Brown in free agency, and then it works out for the Commander, but you find someone who has similar traits in Jaylin Lane, and the benefit is that they're younger and they're on a rookie contract. But as I said, we were not only going to look at what analysts had to say, we're going to look at what fans had to say about the Commanders. We're going to look at this first tweet, one of the most engagement of a tweet from the Commanders regarding the draft picks. This one just lists all the draft picks, but also includes the picks that were given away to go get Marshawn Lattimore, to go get Tunsil, to go get Deebo Samuel. Says Adam Peters is him. Has 112.2 thousand views, 257 reposts, and 2.2 thousand likes. Which says something that people do agree with him. There wasn't a lot of bickering when it came to what the Commanders regarding this tweet of what the Commander has selected for the positions. We're also going to look at another tweet that relates back to this tweet, which was saying Some in the fan base may complain that the Commanders only have 5 draft picks this year, but they picked up 3 proven vets in trades. They're talking about how they use those trades to get Marshall Lattimore, to get Tunsil, to get Deebo Samuels, and they say, and 3 players they picked up in the draft that didn't go to waste: an RT, Josh, a cornerback, Trey, a wide receiver, Jaylin Lane. All 3 will contribute to the team moving forward. As I said, if not right now, but definitely in the future, these players will improve this team. They're the next generation of players that come into this franchise and help the Washington Commanders succeed. But all this is just us lollygagging into speculations. What do you guys think? Do you think this is a great set of players within the Commanders? Comment down below if you think they will fit perfectly with the system and the ideology that the Commanders have for this team, or were the Commanders wrong, or these guys are not going to be here in the next couple years. You let us know in the comment down below. I'm Azael Mejia with Commander Digest, reporting everything all Washington Commanders, and I'll see you in the next video.